What's up YouTube, and welcome to a quick and easy text-based tutorial. Now there's a link to everything you're going to need in the description down below, any fonts, colors and graphics that we've used in today's design. The canvas size is 2000 by 2000, and with all that said, let's get started. Once you've created your canvas, the first thing you're going to need to do is add in the sand image. Now what you're going to need to do is if you swipe on your dock from the bottom, you'll see your icons, and if you don't have Chrome or Safari at the bottom, it'll be in your app library on the bottom right. But I'm going to go ahead and grab Chrome and drag it up and onto the left hand side of my screen, and it'll pop in alongside Procreate. And if I make sure that Procreate is 2/3 and the image here, if I pinch out, it'll get a bit smaller and we can see the whole thing. And once you've gone to the link in the description down below, you can tap and hold on the image and it will eventually pop, and you'll see it just snap onto your finger so that you can drag and drop it onto your canvas. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and swipe that Chrome all the way off to the left hand side. And if we pinch out a little bit, we can go ahead and add in this sand effect. Now we want to exclude this area and this area here, so we're going to use the uniform option here. Scale them up first of all to at least match the width of our canvas, and then maybe just scale that up a little bit more. And we've got a nice blank space in the center for our text to go in. So tap on your cursor when you're done, and then let's go full screen again. So we need to add the star of the show, which is going to be the text. So we're going to go to our colors and grab the middle color here of our palette. We're then going to go to our actions. We're going to go to the add option, and we're going to go to add text. We're going to double tap on the text until we get the sub menu. And if you tap on the font on the left hand side, you'll get all of your fonts and all of your options pop up. Now we're going to scroll through our fonts, and we want to go upwards until we hit the Bradley hand text. I'm then going to scale that up a little bit so I can see it. I'm going to double tap on the text, and I'm going to type in the word sand, all in capitals. And then if it's too big, you can just grab that node on either side and make enough space for it. Then go ahead and grab your cursor and then pop that in the center of your design. And if you turn on snapping here in the bottom left, you'll be able to get the orange lines running vertically and horizontally, just to let you know you're perfectly in the center of your design. Then tap on your cursor when you're done. Now we need to go ahead and make this look like it's actually part of the sand itself. So we're going to do a few little tricks here. The first thing we're going to do is go to our layers. We're going to go ahead and create a new layer above. Tap on that layer and clipping mask it to the text. We're going to go to our colors. We're going to grab the darkest tone at the top here. We're then going to go back to our layers. We're going to tap on the sand layer, the text layer, tap on it and use the option of select. Make sure color fill is turned off, otherwise this won't work. Invert your selection, so tap on this option here. So tap on it once, and then you'll see the text now has the lines running through it, which means we've got all this outside space we can play with. And if we go to our layers, if we go to that top layer, the empty one, and tap on it and use the option of fill, you won't see any visual change, but you'll see from your layer you've filled in everything but the text. Now this is going to be used so we can go ahead and add in an internal shadow inside our sand text. But what we're going to do before we do that is we're going to go to the sand layer, the actual texture, swipe it to the left and duplicate it. Grab that layer and drop it in between the sand text and the shadow we just created. It will disappear for a moment, but if we tap on the N value here, which stands for normal for its layer option, and we scroll down and we change that to lighter color, and then we go ahead and grab the opacity here, scale that all the way down until you hit the option around about 38-40%, something like that. Then when we take a look at our screen, you can now see our text is there and it's got a little bit of that grain coming through from the sand. Let's go ahead and continue to make this more 3D. So let's go to our layers. The layer above it, which is our little drop shadow we created, we're going to go ahead and grab our cursor. We will need to zoom out, so you'll need a bit of empty space. And you're going to use the uniform option, and you just want to scale that down just a tiny bit and then bring it back into the center. So that's why snapping is really important for this. And if you put it back in the middle vertically at least, so it's the lines running straight down the middle, and then move it down so it touches the bottom edge, tap on your cursor, your text now will have an internal shadow on the inside of it. Now the only thing with that is it's a bit too sharp for me. So we're going to go to our adjustments, Gaussian blur, and swipe from left to right, just adding in a 3% blur there. You can see the value at the top, and tap on your adjustments. Now that's already come into life with its internal shadow. Let's add some external highlights and shadows as well. So let's go to our layers. we're going to go to the sand layer here, the actual text, and swipe it to the left and duplicate it. Now the bottom one, tap on that layer and you can rasterize it. So tap on this option here, tap on the layer, go to alpha lock. So now it's locked just to the text. Go to your colors and grab this lightest tone at the bottom of our palette. Then go to your layers, tap on that layer and fill it. Now you won't see any visual change, but make sure you tap on the layer again and un-alpha lock it. And then we're going to do the scale effect again. Then grab your cursor. If we zoom in a little bit, we just want to scale it up. So grab the uniform option here and just scale it up a little bit from the bottom right hand corner. Just a little bit. You'll start to see a bit of the edge, and then move it back into the center so you hit that orange line running down the middle, and then move it down. So you should start to see here on the S, it's a great example. You can see I've moved it and I've got this outer highlight and towards the bottom edges only, just a little bit, and then tap on your cursor when you're done. Now all your text will have a very faint line, but the text towards the outside will have a bit of a thicker line. Now we want to go ahead and distort this a little bit. We don't want it to be too pristine and too sharp. So we're going to go to our brush and we're going to go down to the organic section and we're going to use the reed brush. Now all we're going to use this for is if we zoom in on all of these nice little corners of the text, my brush size is set to a very small percentage, around about 3%. I'm just going to sort of go around that edge and just thicken it out a little bit and just make it a little bit messy. It doesn't have to be nice and sharp. You can maybe thicken up at other little areas as well. But as long as there's a little bit of your original highlight showing, then you know you're in the right position. For example, I don't want to add one up here, up above our shadow. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm just going to thicken out that little corner down here, and then a little corner down here as well, just on the edge of the S. Just thicken that up, and make sure you try and distort your lines a little bit, making sure they're not too pristine and too sharp. These corners here on the N are a perfect area to try and break up a little bit. Do the same on the edge of the D here, just like that, and then go all the way around, maybe brushing that out a bit more. And if you zoom out, the corners of your text now should start to have a nice little bit of extra highlight. You can maybe just go in and emphasize them if you don't feel like you've done enough. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my cursor and I'm just going to tap here at the bottom. I'm going to tap a few times just to bring that down a little bit more. So I've tapped twice just to bring that down a smidge, and tap on my cursor. Now this extra step is to go to our layers. This layer here we're working on for the highlights. We're going to swipe it to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out the two, tap on it, alpha lock it. Go to your colors and grab the shadow color, the top color in our palette. Go back to your layer, tap on that layer and fill it. Tap on it again and un-alpha lock it. Then go ahead and go to your adjustments. Go to perspective blur. And you want to move this perspective blur up to this point, and all your blurs now will go outwards from that point. And we're just going to swipe from left to right to increase the percentage of this. And I'm going to go a bit further. I'm going to go up to roughly around about sort of 30 to 40%, like so. And then tap on your adjustments when you're done. And it's a very subtle change, but everything under here now on the outside, on the actual land of the text, is now got a nice little sub shadow underneath it. Just helps it really stand off. And that's it. You can pinch with two fingers. You can go to your colors and double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. If you go to your layers and go right to the top, go to your actions, add some text, double tap on the text, change your font. I'm going to scroll all the way down through my fonts until I hit the Oliver blush, and I'm going to double tap on. I'm then going to go to my keyboard and I'm going to type in watch the, grab my cursor, move that down just above my text, hitting the orange line so it's nice and centered. Then go to my layers, swipe that layer to the left and duplicate it. Grab your cursor, move it down underneath the main text. Make sure you leave a nice even gap between. Tap on your cursor, then double tap on the text, double tap on it again to select all of it. Then you can tap on your keyboard and you can change this second line to it gets between your toes. And then if I drag this node out a little bit so it's all on one line, grab my cursor, make sure it's nice and centered so it hits that orange line again, And if you're interested in my font size, if I double tap on it again, the font size is 36.8. Tap on done. And if I go full screen with 4 fingers, you finish today's tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy text-based tutorial. If you did, drop a like down below, helps the channel out an awful lot. And if you're new here, I post Procreate content every single week, so hit that subscribe button for more tutorials. And shout out to all my patrons. I'll throw their names up on the screen now. You can come and join me over on Patreon, where you can get access to even more tutorials every single month, as well as early access, sneak peeks, and much more. Hit the link in the description down below. And if you're interested in any of the equipment, I'm using the Sketchboard Pro that you can use code JOELCREATE for 10% off, or the Paperlike screen cover, or the Pen Tips grip and glove. There's links to all my equipment in the description. And with all that said, I'll see you in the next one.